Dear students, today we will talk about semi-empirical mass formula. Semi-empirical mass formula, which actually leads to liquid drop model of nucleus. Liquid drop model of nucleus. So today we are basically interested in studying liquid drop model of nucleus. A number of models have been proposed from time to time, more than 5 or 6 models, to explain the properties inside a nucleus. None of the models is complete by itself, but there are two models which are very well read. One is the liquid drop model, another is the shell model. Today we will take up the liquid drop model, right? In this model, we assume that a nucleus can be more or less treated like a liquid drop because of a spherical shape. A liquid drop has a spherical shape, so has a nucleus, number one. Number two, inside a liquid drop, all the water molecules or the molecules of the liquid are held by intermolecular force. So are the nucleons inside a nucleus bound together by a nuclear force, right? And other kind of similarities. But in rest of the aspects, they do not match much. This model does have its limitations. It is not successfully explaining all properties of nuclei, but for certain reasons we have taken to study it. Now the first thing is that on account of this volume, this sphericity, we are mostly interested in studying the shape of the nucleus and how does the shape of the nucleus result in finding a reasonable formula to calculate the binding energy. What are the various terms that could be involved? Number one is volume energy. Volume energy, because nucleus is spherical, it will have a volume, right? Because of that volume, the energy associated with it will be volume energy. Similarly, it will have a surface area as a liquid drop has. So because of the surface area, it will have another component of energy that is called surface energy. Then, because there are protons inside the nucleus, forget about the neutrons, they are neutral, but protons have a charge, they will show a force of repulsion. So there will be a Coulomb energy term. This is the third term. The fourth is the asymmetry. Asymmetry energy. Asymmetry means sometimes neutrons may be more than protons and sometimes protons may be more than neutrons. And this asymmetry also causes certain disturbances which decreases the binding energy. And then fifth is pairing energy. The fifth and last term is pairing energy. Pairing energy is on account of again neutrons or protons being even or odd. If all neutrons are even, there is no neutron which is left unpaired. If all protons are even, there is no proton which is left unpaired. By even or odd, I mean in number, whether they are even or odd. If they are odd in number, there is one neutron which is left unpaired. If they are odd in number, there is one proton which is left unpaired, right? Now let us take it up volume energy. You just have to write what these terms are all about. So we'll write that this binding energy will actually be a sum of these five terms: volume energy, surface energy, Coulomb energy, asymmetry energy, and pairing energy. Now volume energy will obviously be proportional to volume, right? So we'll put a constant A1. For volume, we know it is dependent on 4 by 3 pi r cube term, and r is dependent on A. Once it is cubed, this 3 1 by 3 goes and we are left with A only, right? Now the binding energy term on account of volume energy will be positive. Why? Because inside a nucleus, like a liquid drop, we know that a particle is attracted on all sides by different molecules. So a molecule, a particle which will be found well inside the drop will be stable on all fronts, right? So the binding energy term will be positive. Now, on account of surface energy, we know that surface is 4 pi r square. R is proportional to a to the power 1 by 3. So, in total, this will be proportional to a to the power 2 by 3, right? Because it's a square term, it will be 2 by 3. Now, the question is on account of surface energy. For example, if you have a nucleon on the surface, just like a water molecule in the drop, it is attracted in the lower side, but on the upper side, it is exposed to another medium. So there are unbalanced forces. And we speak the same thing in case of nuclei also. We say that the neutron or the proton which is near the surface is attracted by the adjacent nucleons only on the lower side, but on the upper side it is exposed to a different kind of environment, so its binding energy is not high. So binding energy term will decrease, so we'll associate a minus sign. Now another term is the Coulomb energy term. Obviously Coulomb energy term will be given by, we know, K Q1 Q2 by R. K is again 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1 Q2 is E square, and R is again proportional to A raised power 1 by 3, right? But how many pair of interactions will be there? Obviously if Z is the atomic number, then it is Z into Z minus 1 by 2. So for all this we can write another constant, that is A3, and for rest of the term we can write Z into Z minus 1 divided by A raised to power 1 by 3, right? I hope all this is a assumption. Now again, on account of Coulomb repulsion, we know that proton and proton can repel and they can come out. So we fear that nucleus may not be stable on account of this repulsion. So we again put a minus term. That binding energy is going to decrease because of this proton-proton repulsion. Now the next thing is this asymmetry energy, right? Or this pairing energy. So how do we understand that? This pairing energy is actually, for example, how do neutrons and protons pair up? They can be even in number, they can be odd in number. Again, they can be even or they can be odd, right? Now this asymmetry is if the number of neutrons are excess or the number of protons are excess. In any case, you are actually interested in the difference between the two, that is n minus z, where n is the number of neutrons and z is the number of protons. And then how do they spread over the entire volume? Again, that will be given by this term n minus z by A. A is the total mass number. So this term actually I'll put it here, asymmetry energy AE. So this is n minus z square by A. That means I can write for it a fourth constant A4, n minus z square by A. For A, again I can write, it is there like this, right? Then you have a pairing energy. Pairing energy, PE, not potential energy, but of course pairing energy. We say that this is proportional to a factor plus minus some constant A5, because now it's the fifth term. Remember, I have used 4 constants, A1, A2, A3 and A4 for this, and now constant A5 for the fifth energy term. This is proportional to A to the power 3 by 4. It is plus, that is, it will add up to binding energy if protons and neutrons are both even in number. If one is odd and another is even, this will be 0. If both are odd, this will be minus. Remember, if both are even in number, it will be plus. If it is an even odd case, one is even and another is odd in number, or another is even and first one is odd in number, it will be 0. If both are odd in number, one is odd and another is odd, so it will be minus. The value will be same. This, it is proportional to A to the power 3 by 4, right? So in all, you can write that this binding energy is the sum of all this. A1, A minus A2, A raised power 2 by 3, minus A3, Z into Z minus 1 divided by A raised power 1 by 3, minus A4, right? So minus A4 term again, right? So that is n minus z or z minus n. It depends whether the number of neutrons are excess or number of protons are excess, square by A. And then you have the fifth term, that is plus minus A5 by A raised power 3 by 4. So according to this model, the only thing that contributes sufficiently to the binding energy is this volume energy term. Volume energy term, it's always positive. And this term can be positive only if both the number of neutrons and protons are even. If they are odd, it will be negative. If one of them is odd and another is even, it will be 0. This term will be 0. So this is called an expression for a formula which finds out, it's a kind of approximation, right? Based on certain logic, we have logically arrived at this formula. So this is called as semi-empirical mass formula. It was proposed by Weizsäcker. Weizsäcker was the name of the scientist. Did I write that early? So it is Weizsäcker. Von Weizsäcker was the name of the scientist who proposed this formula, this method. So it's also called as semi-empirical mass formula to determine the binding energy of a nucleus. In this model, nucleus is treated as a liquid drop in which you have the forces like that of surface tension. Intermolecular forces are like equated to nuclear forces, although truly they are not. Nuclear forces are actually of a very complex nature, but somehow we are relating it that way. I hope that is sufficient.